Hello and welcome back to another video on SW Fight Hub. We're going to be looking at Joyce versus Derek Chisora this weekend. It's happening on July 27th at the O2 Arena. Promises to be a very, very interesting main event. For me, it's a crossroads fight. Loser leaves town kind of matchup. Both guys in their late 30s. Derek Chisora especially has had a long, long, hard career. He's been in fights with Vitaly Klitschko. He's been around for that long. Joyce stayed amateur a little bit longer. Has been through some very, very tough fights. He's got some incredibly good wins as well, wins that have aged really well. If the likes of Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker, who could forget that 11th round knockout, absolutely brutal. It's come into a little bit of a struggle in more recent times, obviously losing twice to Zhilei Zhang. The Juggernaut's chin looked like it finally been cracked, after all those years of just walking through punches from huge guys, which obviously, testament to him for that, because not many heavyweights have been able to do that over the years. But very, very interesting fight for me. I'd have liked to have seen Derek Chisora retire a while ago, if I'm being completely honest. Tyson Fury looked like he kind of beat him for the third time in kind of, I would say, second gear, but it probably was more like first gear a couple of fights ago. He's beat Gerald Washington since then. But ultimately, Chisora is 2-4 in his last 6. Yes, fair enough. Only Tyson Fury stopped him in those fights, but he's took a bit of a beating off Joseph Parker. Obviously, he did okay in the Alexander Usyk fight, but ultimately, for me, it's Derek Chisora should retire. Win or lose, it'd be great to see him go out on a high. I know he wants to fight again in Manchester. He said it's going to be his last fight at the O2 Arena. He wants to fight again in Manchester. I've heard he wants to do a fight in Africa. Obviously, I think he's got Zimbabwean heritage. All the pressure for me on this fight it's on Joyce. He's the one with title aspirations. Derek Chisora's fought for the world title on multiple different occasions. Joyce hasn't. He decided to stick to the WBO route when he was coming through. Funnily enough, when he beat Daniel Dubois, Dubois' current IBF champion, but also fought Usyk for belts not so long ago. He's had a couple of world title fights, or he's going into his second, and Joyce still yet hasn't fought for a belt. Just shows you how important it is to go down a certain route in boxing. But Joyce's career is over effectively if Derek Chisora beats him on Saturday night. It's going to be interesting. For Derek Chisora is old and he is past his best, but Joyce gets hits in fights. He really does. Chisora's not a bigger puncher as Zhilei Zhang. But Cash Ali was still hitting Joyce in his comeback fight last time out. Yes, Joyce stopped him in the final round, but for me, he didn't look great either. I think Joyce is going to have just about enough in the tank for this fight. I really do. I do think Chisora is kind of done at this stage. He's going to get a big payday from this. Joyce, if he has any kind of aspirations at all for world championship level, has to look good here against Derek Chisora. He can't labour to a decision. He can't, get off the canvas and sneak in by a point on a split decision or whatever. He has to go out and put a destructive performance out here against Derek Chisora. I think it'll be close enough. I think that Joyce will maybe stop him towards the end of the fight. But I'd like to see a better performance from Joyce. I'd like to see him move through the gears a lot more than he did against Cash Ali, which was understandable because Zhilei Zhang really cracked him in that second fight. It was a brutal, brutal stoppage. So, he can be forgiven for having a slower comeback fight. But, he's in his late 30s. He's not getting any younger. I know he's a heavyweight, and I know it's a little bit different in the lighter weights. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a really good fight, this. I think both men are going to have their moments. It's good matchmaking. It's a good fight to make. It's a good test to see where Joyce is going to be at. Is he going to be able to get back to, what was a once touted world champion? Derek Chisora, let's see what he has left. If he's going to do the 2 fights that he says he wants to do after this one, he's definitely going to have to drop down a level, in my opinion. But get involved in the comments, guys. Let me know what you think about this Saturday's main event from the O2. Should be a cracker. It's Joyce versus Derek Chisora. And as always, guys, thank you for watching.